Hey guys, this is listener Kristen in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and I am time banditing. And I just listened to the show where John was getting really emotional about being part of TBTL and how brave of a risk it was for him to take the leap to join you as a business boy and be part of this beautiful podcast machine that we have all built together. And I just wanted to say that touched me in my feels, though. And I just wanted to share how much TBTL has meant to me over the last 10 plus years of being a listener. I'm so thankful for the whimsy and friendship and wonder that you guys and the TBTL 10's community brings to my everyday, and I just want to say thanks for being a 10. Power out.
TBTL.
Doggy butt, doggy butt, doggy 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 butt, doggy butt, doggy butt, doggy 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 butt.
Flashes of Quincy.
You're here to make friends. Making friends is the name of this show.
I feel a real need to express something, but I don't know what it is I want to express or how to express it.
Don't you kind of feel like a sellout?
Can you really call it a sellout when they give you a free Tesla for doing the show?
TMI.
TMI, WIP, more like it. One man's too much information is another man's too little information. TLI. And one other man's JEI. Just enough information.
It's embarrassing and it's gross, but at least it's kind of funny.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Well, all right. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Wednesday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
Is it too early to get a fish sandwich?
My name is Luke Burbank. I am your host.
You paint your bald spot?
What bald spot? Coming to you once again from beautiful downtown Friendship, Wisconsin, where it's been an interesting day in the weather department. It started off raining.
Didn't know you like to get wet, though.
But now is somehow also brutally hot.
Never kick a cow turd on a hot day.
This is a sort of a weather pattern that I'm not used to, being from the Pacific Northwest, but we are sure enjoying it out here as we arrive at episode 4516 in a collector's series.
Let the fun begin.
Which is also day 3 of the TBTL-a-Thon banding together.
Thank you for being a 10.
This, of course, is our once a year fundraiser. We remind you all this is 100% listener supported. We've turned down the big bucks from the major corporations and the other advertisers. It's easy to turn it down when they're not offering it. But the point is, we need you all to help us keep doing this. Thank you so much to everybody who's already supported us and to the folks that are going to be able to do that as the week continues. That's why we're here in Friendship, Wisconsin. The show is about friendship.
All the flavors of ice cream in the world wouldn't take the place of friends.
And again, we're having a great week. We are going to try to take phone calls today. The phone number 206-414-TBTL.
Ahoy, hoy.
But be honest, the phone connectivity was in and out this morning, by which we mean the internet connectivity was a little in and out, so we'll just have to play that sort of by ear. The guy in charge of all of that, who's going to be tasked with handling that, is, of course, the longest-running Cobra of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships.
The guy is a nut bar. A nut bar.
He's Andrew Walsh. He's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. I'm joining you today, as you well know, as a two-time loser. Two-time loser today checking in.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit down, but I'm hoping that today's show and the TBTL-a-Thon can pick me up a little bit.
I have a feeling your mood is about to change.
Yeah?
In a very, very extraordinary way. More on that coming up in a moment. We also have to say hi to this guy, TBTL employee numero uno. Finally, in day 3, the possessor of actual headphones that actually work.
Turn it up! I want to hear it!
He's John Sklaroff. Hello, buddy.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm a real boy today.
I
can
know,
hear
right?
you. Now people hear the drops and everything.
If you're just tuning in today, Andrew was so incredibly assiduous in his packing for this. He thought of everything except one tiny thing, which was a connector that connects studio headphones to our headphone amp. He brought one of them, which I'm using, and he did not have one for John Sklaroff. So
can I correct you there for 1 second?
This is not Andrew's fault.
Well, not only that, but the problem is
You're trying to show off because of our guest, Andrew.
No,
That's why you're being defensive.
No, I'm actually going to throw myself further under the bus. It's not that I didn't think of it. The killer is that I did think of it. I brought one instead of two, and I thought, should I bring two? And I thought, no, you can't bring everything in your tackle box full of
It felt
audio
to you
equipment.
like it was a camel's nose under the tent. If you brought that other headphone adapter, then what else would you bring?
I didn't bring something that's an inch and a half long.
I'd really like to further absolve Andrew, where a Saturday, as I was preparing to pack for the week, I had the piece, the connector that I own in my hand, and whatever reason, Sunday when I finished packing, it was not in the bag. So it's 100% on me.
All that is to say, we ordered some new headphones. They came to the Airbnb. John is wearing them now.
They look great.
That's really
feel great.
It's really good to have you now officially part of the conversation. Whereas you could not hear the phone calls or the audio. Speaking of people who can't hear the phone calls or the audio, we actually have a special surprise guest who just popped in here to the Adams County Historical Society, which is where we're at once again.
Surprise!
I have a feeling, Andrew, that you're trying to keep it kind of cool right now, but internally you are in the words
freaking out.
You're in the words of Steve Coogan.
Oh my God, I'm freaking out!
You are freaking out because joining us right now from all the way down the street in Adams, Wisconsin, and Wisconsin 106 is Bob Goff, a.k.a. Bob in the Morning.
Hello, everybody.
Bob, how are you?
I am great. I hope you guys are doing as well. Welcome to Friendship.
Thank you. I am your. I can't say I'm your biggest fan because I don't know your entire listening audience, but I gotta be your newest biggest fan.
I will give you that one all the way.
I've been listening every morning since we've been here. As you heard me allude to, I have entered. We'll get more into this in a second because I hate to say it, but I also have a bone to pick with you.
Oh,
but he's been listening. He's been listening for 2 days, and he already has. He has some tips.
I have some notes.
Comments.
No big surprise, quite frankly.
I've been entering that contest. I'm going to win those tickets. I can't even use those tickets to the state fair because I won't be here. But damn it, I'm going to win those. Oh wait, today was the last day you had those tickets.
I
to the
have
state
one
fair.
more 4-pack to give away, separate from the question to ponder.
Okay.
I have two more for the rest of the week.
Can I just lay something on you, Bob? Don't waste them on him.
Okay.
He's gonna be throwing darts in his basement in Seattle, Washington by Sunday afternoon. He's not going to be able to use the tickets.
No, it is true, but it's just more of the thrill of the hunt for me, you know.
Okay. So Andrew, can you please take us through your very short but very intense journey with Wisconsin 106 and particularly with Bob in the Morning?
Yeah, as far as I know, Bob in the Morning is the only show on Wisconsin 106. I know that's not true because I looked at your website, but I've only been listening to the mornings now. And let's see, I said I listened the past 3 days. I think I started listening on Monday, and then maybe Tuesday morning was the day I first heard the question to ponder contest, right?
Yes.
And yesterday the question, I know today's, what was yesterday's
question? It was
question
the
to
blue
ponder?
blocker sunglasses.
Oh,
Which and full disclosure, Bob, because I don't want you to hear this later.
Yeah.
I was pretty suspicious of that answer.
Hey,
first of all, I think you may have gotten it from ChatGPT and or the CBC broadcasting in 2013. Because we both entered, it was Andrew's idea first, but we both entered what we think is the correct answer, which is in order to get a better night's sleep, you should turn your cell phone off 30 minutes before going to bed.
That's a lot of studies say that, but this is a study.
You're doing your own research.
Every single question that I ask, I've got research behind it.
Yeah.
And like yesterday's question was, what should you do 90 minutes before you go to bed in order to get a better night's sleep? And this particular study from a couple of years ago said put on a pair of sunglasses. And that's, it could be any type of sunglasses.
Right. Although what I was pointing out, because I felt very defensive of Andrew yesterday that he didn't win.
He's always looking out
on
for
his
me.
first
It's like
attempt.
an older brother.
I was like, yes, but if the sunglasses are intended to block out blue light, which is what the internet was telling me,
right,
and the phones emit the blue light, you could either turn the phone off or you could put on the sunglasses. Those would be serving the same purpose. I thought that those would have both been considered correct answers.
Well, and you could also say that, just dimming the lights in the room would help, or
taking a sexy shower, which was one of the answers.
Yeah, I love that one.
Which felt pretty racy for 7 in the morning in Wisconsin.
Yeah, you should see some of the ones I don't read on the air, or hear some of the ones I get on the phone.
I did want to ask you. because today's winner, and we'll get into today's question in a second and the answer, but I know today's winner, you said, oh, it's our pal so-and-so from some area, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but I'm wondering, do you get you hear from a lot of the same people every morning?
Oh, yeah, even if after they win, because we have 90 days where you can't win on the contest, and I had to go to that because I had so many regular winners.
Yeah.
So I went to 90 days to win. And even if they win, they still answer the question.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's kind of a game with them and their friends as well.
Well, it's becoming the favorite game in our Airbnb out there in Quincy.
Well, that's
absolutely.
Good.
Now, Andrew, do you want to talk about today's question?
Yeah, today's question. In fact, I don't know if this is weird for you, Bob, but I could maybe even just play today's question, like right here.
Sure.
So
I'm telling you.
Question to ponder for the day today is the following. According to research, this will happen to most people about 400 times in their lifetime.
Okay, so that was you.
We're letting the TBTL listeners ponder this as well. Those that didn't play the game this morning.
Yeah, if you've already played the game, please don't enter. Let the other folks have a chance.
Yeah, but okay. So Andrew did what he has been doing this whole week, which is John and I are sitting in the kind of dining room area of our Airbnb. Andrew, because he has his own bathroom. You don't know this. He's the diva of the show. Whenever we stay somewhere, he has to have the finest accommodations.
It's an ensuite,
So
Bob.
he has the nice room at the Airbnb with a bathroom attached to it. We don't even see him till 10 minutes before it's time to come down here.
And if they look me in the eye, I get real cranky.
There's a policy of no direct eye contact. He comes out of his chambers and he's playing your station on his phone. And he says to me, he says what the question is, which is something that happens to people 400 times in their lifetime on average or whatever. And he said the answer he submitted was what, Andrew?
Well, I want to tell you my thought process here. I immediately thought stubbing your toe. I thought, okay, stubbing your toe. And you mentioned later on in the show that a lot of the answers did have to do with like some sort of bodily injury.
Right.
So I'm assuming it was a minor bodily injury. Stubbing your toe seemed high to me.
Like 400 times in a lifetime seems high.
That seems like
unless you're me.
Too high. Oh, is that true? Is that true?
Yeah,
that's one of the most painful things that can happen. To
He
a person.
hobbled in here, everyone.
He's on crutches. And so then I went with biting your tongue, which you did read. I got very excited today when I heard you read my answer. I don't know, did you get a lot of that today? A lot of biting your tongue?
There was quite a few biting your tongue, but not as many as I thought there would be.
I think
but
that's
then
still the
afterwards
correct
you
answer
said that's a really good answer, and I was like, yeah.
Now,
and it was a really good answer.
Can I explain Rashomon style my experience of the correct answer, which is to say, my perspective on the whole thing was, I was getting out of the shower. I was down kind of on the poor side of town where John and I share a very small bathroom.
There is no poor side in Quincy.
Yeah. Well, that's
the
true.
poor side of the Airbnb.
Yeah, the poor side of the manufactured Airbnb that we are currently in.
Right.
But I'm getting out of the shower and I hear that John and Andrew are crowded around Andrew's cell phone like a family in the 1950s gathered around the radiola. There was a dog with its head cocked looking at it. I know I'm mixing radios and Victrolas, and let's just go with me.
Thank you, Nipper.
And that was the name of that dog, right?
Yep.
So I stepped out of the shower, and I'm going to swear now, but this is, I want to give everyone a trigger warning. I just hear John yelling, "That is bullshit." Okay, maybe horse shit. I just hear the angriest yelling from down the hall, and I pop my head out and I go, "What happened?" And they said, "It's paper cuts."
It's paper cuts.
Now,
John and I immediately start doing the math on that.
Yeah.
We're like 400 in a lifetime. And I'm saying, okay, let's say you live to be 80 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That
God
is
willing.
5 paper cuts a year. Are we getting 5 paper cuts a year?
No, that's not.
Am I not doing that right?
No way.
It's got to
be way more than that.
I'm thinking 50.
Is it 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, because 80 times 10 would be 800, so it would be times 5.
Oh.
Well, that was your math, right?
I don't know. So we're saying
somebody on YouTube, will you do the math for us, please?
Did I mess this up that bad? It's 50 a year?
No, it's 5.
5 a year.
5 a year.
But that still seems excessive
That would
to me.
be 400 at the end of an 80 years of a... Okay.
Wow.
Right. This is going down.
So
in
we
flames.
are
That
going.
seems, if you work in an office like I do off the air, that's low. Trust me.
You think so? 5 a year is low
I
for
get
you.
5 a week.
Are you serious?
You
You
need
also
to
said
really-
you got bitten by 400 mosquitoes just today alone.
Yeah.
I will not show you my arms on the camera.
Okay,
so.
wait a sec though, because that also, I have to say, did create what I think is one of Andrew's better retorts of the week.
Yeah.
Talking about, well, here's what I said was, if I get 400 paper cuts, let's just say I get 300 paper cuts in my life, I might, let's just say I would be pretty upset, and I might think that I'm not living my life the right way if I'm getting paper cutted that many times. And then Andrew, you said,
I said I would certainly quit my job at the lemon squeezing factory.
I thought that was a pretty good spoof.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought that was
don't let any of my jokes go unaired.
That's right.
That is a waste of
We use
resources.
every part of the Andrew
That's
comedy.
Right.
But anyway, this is like, it's been so fun, Bob, to like kind of get into your guys' radio station as outsiders, because we are, Andrew and I are, been doing radio for like years and years, and both worked in local radio in a bunch of different places. And we had actually been having lunch at the Sugar Shack. And then we were just crossing the street and we saw your studios.
You should have come in.
Well, it was after 3, so I think you guys were, but whoever was on that shift was, I think, doing some paperwork or something. But we were so taken with the location and right there on Main Street in Adams. And also, then when we started looking into the station, seeing that you got you in the morning, and then is it Patty?
Patty's on the air right now. In fact, doing our all request lunch hour.
Nice. And then you got the afternoon guy.
Afternoon guy is Joe Dexter, who was the guy who originally purchased the station when I first came over back in 2013.
Nice.
And he still hangs with us, even though he sold the station in 2019.
And then, of course, Delilah at night. I mean,
Right.
it can't get any better than that. Maybe, it's a music station. Okay, other than Coast to Coast with Art Bell. Rest in peace. There's no better late night programming than Delilah, in my
That's right.
opinion. But we love the fact that you have a thriving local radio station with like live human beings actually DJing and hosting.
Yeah, it's kind of unique nowadays, really, when you get right down to it. I've been, like I said, I've been here since, in fact, my anniversary is coming up, August 8th. Will be from 2013 till now.
Wow, congratulations.
I've been with the station, and it's been in its current form since the fall of 2019.
And how is it going? Because, obviously radio as an industry is really complicated these days, and there's so much contraction and so much just like, iHeartRadio and these big companies just kind of taking a lot of local stations and putting them on as essentially repeaters.
Yep.
How are you guys actually doing it so that you are like, it's working? You're a radio station with real human beings who go in there and play songs.
The big thing is that we literally are local. I live in the area. Patty actually owns Cabins on the Lake, which is just up the road from here. And she works our midday, and then she runs her little thing. But we keep it as local as we possibly can. The programming is all done by myself.
You're also the general manager.
Yeah, basically what the concept of the station is, I loaded in my music library from home and hit play.
Wow.
That's really what it is. You'll hear everything from, some really cool hip stuff from the 60s, all the way to stuff in the 90s, and even a little bit beyond now. I'm starting to work myself into the 2000s and the mid-teens and stuff.
Do you guys, this is a very boring radio question, do you guys, do you go out and do the sales? Do you have a salesperson? How does that work?
We have a part-time salesperson. Okay. I do a bulk of it. In fact, I do the bulk of it. And then our owner actually goes out and does stuff. Marcus is the owner, Marcus Jager.
Yeah.
Lives in Illinois, but he has property on Mirror Lake up here in the Dells. And that's how he found the station and purchased it back in 2019. So
yeah, and it's working. You guys are keeping the lights on.
We're keeping the lights on. It's a little bit of a struggle, but I think the biggest thing for us is I keep my head down. I really don't care what the major players are doing. We have some local folks here in the state that we kind of bump up against, but they're all friends.
Yeah,
they're all guys that I know that I've one of them I've worked with in the past.
Yeah,
and just kind of do what we do and do what we can to best serve our area here. We've got we've got the second and fourth largest lakes in the state on our western border. and we have like a playground that we get people coming up in the summertime from Illinois, from Michigan, from Iowa, from Minnesota. And my goal is to just help them have a good time while they're here.
How big is the reach? How much of an area do you
What
reach?
I always tell our advertisers is our bulk signal is from Wautoma to Toma, east to west.
Sure.
And then north to south, it's usually Wisconsin Rapids to Sauk City. So you can pick us up. I've gone on the interstate, and I have picked us up all the way in just past Lodi to where they're hopefully going to be building a Buc-ee's someday soon.
Oh, we've been hearing about that.
Because I was sort of wondering while you guys were talking about the advertising. Well, one thing I was telling Luke about this actually over breakfast next door at the diner. I just think it's so cool. Like I'm in love with local radio, and as Luke said, there's fewer and fewer stations that do what you guys are doing. And I mean, literally, I don't know if we said this explicitly today, you're literally sitting in front of a window looking out onto Main Street. Right. I mean, it's the dream. And you were doing, an ad read, I think, for one of the sponsors for the contest. And you said, well, I'm looking at them right now across the street.
Yeah,
I just love that. I love that so much. But also with such a small town, I wonder, like, you can't only rely on advertisers that are on this small stretch of downtown. You must go wider than that.
Yeah, we there are a lot of towns and stuff around the area that we do rely on for advertising and things like that. Plus, we have things from outside. We have Ho Chunk Casino up in Nakusa is one of our larger sponsors for the station.
You get any gift cards for Ho Chunk?
Yeah. No,
got any free trip to the buffet?
I don't yet, but I'm actually going to have a meeting with Rose, who's the marketing gal up there, nice. We'll say hi to her and hopefully get some.
I want to mention that when Andrew and I were having breakfast this morning over at the Family Affair, I did note that they were playing an iHeart radio station, and I went and I changed it to you guys. Yeah. And they asked me not to go behind the counter anymore.
Yes. Oh, well.
But we got to work on them. I don't know what they're thinking.
They used to listen to us all the time, and
that's
anytime I would go in there, they had us on the air, and I will admit I have not been in there of late, but...
well, we got to talk to somebody. I feel like every business in Adams and Friendship should be legally obligated to be playing Wisconsin 106.
Yeah, usually Becky's has us on, even though she gets hers off the internet instead of
Two Scoops. Big Scoops over there.
Becca. Oh yeah,
Big Scoops. Yeah, we met her when we had lunch the other day. She's called that, by the way, because she gave a very large scoop of ice cream to a child who nicknamed her Big Scoops.
Yes.
That's not like her dancer name or anything.
No.
Although she would appreciate that joke. We hung out with her and a bunch of folks at the It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Like our first or second night here, we were getting a download of all of the local lore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 5 o'clock's a nice place. They're just down the street from us.
Yeah, we love them. Andy is great over there. Mm-hmm. If we had to watch the Mariners get absolutely demolished by the Milwaukee Brewers and have a fan of the Brewers bartending, I'm glad it was Andy.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go.
Good guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am so personally invested in the future success of your radio station, because I don't know, how many radio stations kind of have this story or exist as you guys do, as not part of some sort of bigger, more, less personal network of some sort.
Yeah, it's become, like you said, with the iHearts and the Odysseys and everybody in the world, that they're treating all of if they're not in New York, Chicago, LA or something like that, they're treating all the other stations as just like subnets of repeaters of their stuff. I have a friend that works for iHeart down in Madison who does her show. She does her show on 2 different stations. She does a show. Yeah. And then she's also voice tracking, I think, at least 2 or 3 other stations.
Wow.
Wow. Well, that's where, for folks that don't know, you're just kind of pre-recording a whole bunch of stuff that then gets kind of by the computer put into the little breaks, but it's just not the same, kind of vibe of going into a radio station and turning the mic on.
And if it's done well, it sounds great, and if it's not done well, you can tell.
Have you had this, since you guys are doing all this live, Bob, have you had the experience of noting that a song was coming to an end, but you were still in the station bathroom?
I have not had that happen for a while.
Oh, good, for a while.
But it has happened in the past.
Do you have stress dreams about a track coming to an end and you can't find your next track you want to put on?
Well, as the GM, my biggest stress stream is usually either I forgot to send the traffic log that has all the commercials in it, or I forgot to send the music log.
Okay.
And, all of a sudden I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and it'll be dead air.
What is your go-to song when you know you need to use the restroom for an extended period of time?
My go-to song actually is one not a lot of people know.
Okay.
It's Mama from Genesis.
Okay.
Oh, I do. He screams, "Mama!" He gets really intense on that track.
And it's also 8 minutes long.
Yes, I did not realize it was so long.
So I guess, no, that's on the album entitled Genesis.
Yes, that was one of the very first cassettes I ever had. I think my parents, I don't know what birthday it was. I'm going to say maybe 10 or 11. They got me a. Do you know the clarinet brand?
Oh,
yeah. Was that Radio Shack brand? I think
it was. I thought I think it was
Radio
actually.
Shack clarinet 122 double deck, and they got me 3 cassette tapes. One was No Jacket Required. One was Genesis. Unfortunately, I can't remember the third one, but it was such a gift of love because my dad could not stand listening to Phil Collins at the time. He would say, "It sounds like he's singing in a trash can." It just sounds like he's singing in a trash can, but he loved me so much, he got me that music anyway.
Well, just to show you my age, my very first album, and this was back when there was vinyl, I was 5 years old. It was 1968, and it was Paul Revere and the Raiders.
I think I have that on vinyl.
I would love to have a copy on vinyl.
Really?
My second one was one I bought for myself with my birthday
Growing
money.
up where, by the way? Where'd you grow up?
Growing up in Minneapolis. I was actually raised in the Twin Cities.
Excellent.
And my second album I bought with my own money, with my birthday money, and it was Sgt. Pepper.
Oh, nice.
And a lifelong love affair was born.
And
You've got the T-shirt to
you
prove
can tell
it.
from my animated cartoon T-shirts.
That's one of the reasons I recognized you. I saw your picture online, but I saw you walking up with your Beatles shirt. And I was like, the Beatles. And then suddenly, because we were just starting recording as you walked up, and Luke was trying to keep it. I was starting to get some
you had a sense. Well, when you saw that I had an email from Bob Goff right here.
I didn't see your name. I just saw that Luke was communicating with somebody from the radio station, but I saw your Beatles shirt, and I was like, oh, that's Bob. Now, do you remember the name of the Paul Revere and the Raiders?
Because a Good Thing?
If I have...
Good Thing was on the album. I know that.
Oh, you know what? I had the greatest hits. I had this one here. Because I was going to say, even though I'm the one who spent this week trying to win on your show, I would happily send you my copy if it had emotional resonance with you. But this is probably not the record.
No, that's not. Okay. But I do have that one, actually.
You do?
So,
okay,
yes.
yeah.
I have a very large vinyl collection.
Yeah, I believe it.
Do you know that this is our fundraiser week, and so people donate, which is kind of shocking and very gratifying. And we have thank you gifts that we send folks for different donation levels. And one of our thank you gifts this year is we're sending a greatest hits vinyl album of the podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Which is just our greatest.
Oh, look at that.
It's our greatest hits of just talking.
Love the Air Supply style cover, by the way.
Bob for the win.
Ladies and gentlemen, you absolutely nailed it.
100% what it's based off of. Good eyes. I think if we can there's a couple things I want to take away from this conversation. One of them is, if you hear Mama by Phil Collins at about, 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you'll know what's going on.
You'll know Bob had Mexican last night.
Or the coffee and the bran muffin is hitting you.
The second thing is I feel, Andrew, like you and Bob could have some kind of a show together where you just compare childhood musical influences and things you loved, and then Andrew, you just scroll through old vinyl and then you see if Bob can name it.
Well, Luke, I am not, obviously I love you to death and I'm not wishing for anything to befall you, but should it happen, I know what my first phone call is going to be.
Exactly.
But before we get too lovey-dovey here, let's get back down to brass tacks.
Yes. The question to ponder.
So, first of all, do you have any do you know what tomorrow's is going to be yet?
I usually don't know until I get there in the morning.
Like jazz.
I have like 5 or 6 places that I go to find questions.
Okay. Yeah. What are those? That was my next question. Where do you get your questions?
Answer that.
Some of it is some of the show prep that I subscribe to. Some of it is just I'll literally go on the internet and just pop something in the search bar and see if I can come up with a question from it. And usually, if you pay attention to like the news and stuff like that, usually the question to ponder has a tendency to follow some of news events occasionally.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, and this is the other thing, and this is a true story. As part of this conversation this morning, I was saying that I'm trying to win this contest again, but I was also truly falling in love with your show. And I told Luke, I'm like, I'm listening on streaming. I could just listen when I get back to Seattle. This could be my new jam. But the problem is, first of all, I'm not an early riser anyway, and I will lose 2 hours when I go to the West Coast. So my question for you is, how locked in are you to your current time slot?
I'm pretty locked in because
you wouldn't consider taking over the 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. because that'd be perfect for Andrew. If you didn't start till about 10 a.m. West Coast, that'd be his speed. That's when he's just starting to wake up.
Well, I have one listener that actually lives in Dublin, Ireland.
Oh, really?
Oh.
And I've known him in fact, I consider Paulie my best friend.
Wow, that's cool.
And he and his family live in Dublin, Ireland. He's come over to visit us a couple of times. I have yet to go over there. I'm hoping to do it next year. But I send him the question in advance because he has such a following of the listeners of what his answer is, that I play his answer first. You'll notice that the last 2 mornings.
I was wondering who that second voice was, who came in and also gave some sort of a quick news, or gave a little tribute to Ozzy Osbourne today, I believe, right?
Are we getting a call from
we have
overseas?
A call I was wondering if it was Ireland. I was seriously wondering if this is your buddy.
That looks like Paulie's number.
Are you serious?
Yeah, let's can we hold on? Let's see if we
put the headphones on. That might be Paulie.
Is this actually your buddy?
Hold on. This is.
Ahoy, hoy.
Hello, you are on TBTL. Who is this?
Hi, I'm Justin.
Is it Justin or Jessica?
Justin.
Hi, Justin. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Spain, but I'm from Milwaukee.
Oh, no kidding. Wait a minute. Now, are you calling for us or Bob in the Morning?
Well, I'm calling for you guys.
Wait, so are you vacationing in Spain or do you live there now?
I live in Spain. I've lived here for about 10 years now, since I was 18, and I'm going to be 28. But I was born and raised in Milwaukee, and part of the reason I'm calling is because I'm so upset because next week I'm going to Milwaukee for the first time in 4 years, and you guys are in Wisconsin this week, the week before I'm going to Wisconsin, and so I'm so upset that I can't come.
Oh, to our thing on Friday. Yeah, well, I'm sorry about the timing, but so what do you do for work over there?
It's a bit strange. I work in, originally I was an au pair. I lived with a family and I was taking care of kids and teaching them English. And then I started working in language academies, teaching English to kids here. And now I work in a trucking company as like a traffic manager. So I basically am kind of the boss of some truck drivers, and I tell them where they have to go to load and unload and stuff like that.
And what part of Spain do you live in?
I live in the south. I live in a city called Almendralejo, which is kind of near Seville, more or less.
And how in the heck did you hear about TBTL?
Yeah.
Well, I've actually been listening to TBTL since I was 15.
In Milwaukee?
So I went to private school, and I had like a scholarship, and part of the scholarship is like, or financial aid, is that like in the summer I had to go and like fix books during the summer, and it was boring, extremely boring, and so I started listening to podcasts, and I started listening to Wait, Don't Tell Me, and then I heard about TBTL, and I've been listening to TBTL ever since.
That is incredible. Wow. I mean, have we talked before? If we have, I don't remember. This is all news to me, and I can't believe you've been out there. When did we talk?
Well, Luke, I met you in I don't know, probably about like 6 or 7 years ago. But it was at a Livewire event, in Chicago.
I really thought you were going to say a casino.
That was the Livewire where I had fallen while running Lake Michigan and had split my entire face open hours before the show.
Exactly.
Wow, what a first impression. What a great first impression.
No, that's fine.
Well, do you have any questions for us? Anything you want to talk about? Any questions for Bob in the morning?
No, I just really wanted to say that, like, it's cool. I find it so cool that you guys are in Wisconsin, and it's so funny to hear about, like, you guys talking about Ho Chunk Casino, because when I was a kid, my mom and my grandma would go to Ho Chunk Casino, and this sounds very degenerate. I promise you that they were, like...
Oh, you're talking to the right
people,
podcast host.
They went to Ho Chunk Casino, and there's a daycare there, and so, like... They would leave me at the. I promise you again, they're good people, you know. But they would leave me there, and to me it was hell because like there was a bunch of random kids that I didn't know, and like the people that worked there were nice and there were activities and stuff. But like obviously, I don't know if we're going to the Wisconsin Dells. I didn't want to be at the daycare of Ho Chunk.
No, you wanted to be on the water slides.
Exactly.
And also
but,
those little baby slot machines hardly ever pay out.
Actually, Andrew, you're joking, but the casino that's near where I live out in Washington State, they actually have like a kids zone now, and the kids zone is just full of like, you know, games video games that kids can play for money, which are all more or less slot machines. It's like a skill claw. It's like things, it's training their brains, you know, to then when they become of age, then just go on the other side of the wall and start losing all of their
slide
money.
over.
But anyway.
That's really cool, though.
Wow. Well, listen, thank you so much for staying with us all these years from all the way over there in Spain. I mean, that really means a lot to us. That's so cool to hear.
Yeah, and I also just want to say I have been a donor for the last couple of years.
Thank you.
I don't know. TBTL has been a part of my life for now a pretty long time. So I really, I don't know, I really appreciate TBTL, and I encourage other people to donate. And you guys are in Wisconsin again. I hope I can be in Wisconsin at the same time.
Yeah, I might not leave.
We'll coordinate it. We will make sure to coordinate it with you next time, okay?
At least she's coming here. She's coming here at the right time. The state fair starts next Thursday.
That's right.
Yeah. Are you going to go to the state fair?
Yes, I'm so excited. I haven't been to the state fair in like 10 years almost, and I love the Wisconsin State Fair is amazing, so I'm very excited.
Well, if I win those tickets tomorrow,
now actually that gets.
I'll send them your way. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Have a safe
Thank
trip.
you. Adios.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Well, it wasn't. What's your?
Wasn't Pauly.
It wasn't Pauly.
It wasn't Pauly.
Wasn't Pauly, but that was even better though. I love that. That was great.
Yeah, that was really
amazing.
fun.
Yeah,
we do these, fundraisers, and also we read these messages throughout the year from people who are donating, and it's like we have so many folks who are not only donating, but then they're also using their time, their airtime to say nice things to us.
Yeah,
It's a pretty sweet deal for us.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
You know. So, well, any other questions for your radio hero?
Well, I will just
Andrew,
say, Bob,
and also for Bob.
Nice.
Yes, John. No, I just want Bob to know that I am going to continue to enter this contest for the next 2 days that I guess we're here, but I am serious about this. I am not, now that you know our name, I am not going to use the same email address. I will create a burner account for this because I don't want I don't even want the perception of impropriety. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Great. But this has been really awesome. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Before you go, the listeners who are watching live in the chat want to make sure to us that we ask, have you seen our billboard?
Oh, right.
And if you have or haven't, can you also, this is just for me, maybe talk about it on your show?
Yeah, right?
Well, actually, I have seen the billboard.
Did you know what it was?
I had no idea what it was, but I thought,
mission accomplished.
Now that I know what it is, it's brilliant.
That is what I wanted to
I think
hear.
it's absolutely brilliant because I go past it almost every day. I don't live here. I actually live over in Camp Douglas, which is about a 35-minute drive away because of the lakes. If it wasn't for back in 1950s when they made Castle Rock, it'd be like a 10-minute drive for work every day. But now it's 35 because I've got this big lake to go around.
Wow.
But yes, I have seen it, and I said, what is that?
That is, we have been talking to people, and the only people who seem to have noticed it already knew about it in advance because they knew we were coming to town or knew the backstory. And we really wanted this idea of people passing this and being like, what in the heck fire is that? But we weren't sure if people were just ignoring it because we haven't, that's our phone number on it.
That's
we wanted
the number
to get
that person just called from Spain.
Right.
That's
And but nobody has called. We haven't gotten any phone calls from people who are just like, what is this all about? I've been watching the line. So just knowing that people are noticing it, it's not just blending into the background, but it is causing at least a second of confusion to a driver.
That makes
the
it. That
world
makes
of it.
all of the thousands and thousands of dollars we spent on it worth it. If we confused you even for a moment, Bob, I think it was worth it.
But if you want to broadcast to your fans tomorrow morning, Bob, maybe we will get some.
I don't know if you know this, but John is the person in charge of the business development.
Okay, all right.
You can really tell.
Or you I actually want to do marketing. For this.
Or if you need us to come on your show tomorrow morning live and promote the billboard, it's also a service we provide.
I would love to have you guys come as a guest tomorrow morning.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm absolutely serious.
Oh, that would be amazing.
If you guys want to come in, like, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock after the question to ponder.
Oh my God!
That way you could get the answer in.
That would be amazing.
Incredible.
I invite all three of you to come in. We'll have a good time.
This is all happening.
Oh my gosh!
Which kind of makes it pointless that I brought some stuff with me anyway. I got station swag for all of you.
Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me?
Everybody's going to get
thank you.
A campfire mug.
Amazing.
Okay, so you got that. All right, and you guys look like you're golfers.
Yeah, big time.
So I brought each of you a golf towel.
Oh my God! Thank you.
That you can put on your bag. So one for you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Pass those down.
We're definitely sweaty.
Yeah.
So we.
Nice.
Thank you.
Something else that can be reused and reused. These are reusable washcloths.
Incredible.
With our station logo on it.
Thank you.
So reusable washcloths, one for each of you, and then last but not least, because you have to have one. Oh wait, we talked about sunglasses.
Oh my gosh!
I forgot I brought the sunglasses along.
And now he's going to give us paper cuts.
You have.
God, we're going to
station
sleep like
sunglasses.
babies tonight.
I've got one more in here somewhere.
Who's taking the sexy shower?
I'm missing one. One of them dropped out.
I'll get one tomorrow.
I'll get one. And then, of course, you each need
it wouldn't be
a pen stolen directly from my desk.
Amazing.
It says right on there.
Did the general manager know you were doing this?
Yes, he does. And the owner does, too, although he doesn't like my obsession with pens.
Well, I don't know how long you've been doing radio, if you remember the days of the Arbitron Diary.
Oh, yes.
But I mean, I worked at many stations where the theory was we're going to send as many pens and keychains out on the hope that when someone's filling out their Arbitron diary, they're just holding a pen from the radio station.
That's right.
So they'll fill you in.
That's how that whole thing started
Yeah.
with pens and everything else.
Yeah.
I've been in radio since the November of 1979.
Whoa!
Going in my 40, it'll be my 46th year.
Hey, congratulations.
Coming up here not too far away. I've been with this station for 13 years now.
Yeah.
Since 2013.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun ride. I've worked all over the place. I've worked everywhere from, I started in my hometown, which is Toma, which is just 40 miles to our west.
Yeah.
I've worked in La Crosse, Rochester, Minnesota. I've worked in Minneapolis at a couple of stations, worked in Milwaukee, and wound up back here. I've even worked in Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow.
So
wow.
And all different formats? What's the weirdest format you've done, or the one that was the least kind of your actual natural interest?
The weirdest format was the one that was running on this station when we took it over in 2013, which it had been running the same music log with the same pre-recorded 1-hour talk show for almost 18 months.
Wait.
Day in and day out, the same music, the same time, the same program.
The same episode.
The same episode.
Is that why so many people were committing themselves to the insane asylum?
I have no idea, but
over in Quincy,
and
that sounds like that would be like a something they would do to try to break you down.
It's Thurber-esque.
And it wasn't through any fault of anybody other than the guy that owned the station really didn't have a lot of knowledge about radio or anything like that. And everybody just kind of walked away from him, and they just kind of let it run.
I see. Wow. So then that was the format, and then you guys flipped it to what you're doing.
Yeah, and actually, when we first got here, we actually made it a hot AC station.
Okay.
And
that's adult contemporary,
right? Which would be like the modern stuff, and not the really rappy modern stuff, when Marcus started coming in to buy the station and stuff like that, I had a really good conversation with him. I said, we're pointing to the wrong market. The average age of the people in our listening area is 55 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we playing music for 18-year-olds
Yeah.
to 55 plus?
Yeah.
And I said, let's do this. And he says, go for it. So I did.
And you said the other thing that demo loves, pondering questions.
Yes. Pondering questions.
So let's launch the question to ponder, and
Exactly.
Radio Legacy was launched.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
and I will tell you this: I am wearing these sunglasses you just gave
you
me,
have
and
never looked cooler.
I cannot see anything without my regular glasses on. But boy, am I ready for bed!
Somebody, hold on. Everybody, look at the webcam. Somebody's got to screen cap this. Andrew with those glasses on is one of the most wonderfully preposterous things I've ever seen.
Too cool is the question. Yes,
Bob, thank you so much. For stopping
thanks
by.
for inviting me. And again, you guys can come tomorrow morning, please.
We'll be there at 6.
All right, if you want to be,
we'll just be milling about in front of the station.
We'll take it over.
No, for real. What time you said? Like get there around 8:15?
About 8,
or 8:30.
Right around 8:30. If you guys want to show up,
great.
you guys can take over the airwaves until 10 o'clock if you want.
Nice. We'll be waving at you through the window. And you can let us in.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for inviting me. This is
you.
great, and I follow the show and expect to see a donation from Heart of Wisconsin Media, which is the parent.
Oh, my
Dang,
goodness.
thanks so much.
Right back at you. We'll make sure to, we'll frequent every advertiser.
And if you want to hear them
Wisconsin
tomorrow
106.
morning, go to wisconsin106.com. Click on Listen Live at the top of the page, and about 8:30 they'll be on the air.
That's
All right,
awesome.
we'll be there. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for inviting me.
That's Bob in the morning from Wisconsin 106 right here. And I love that I do resets still.
No,
like
but
it's
I
the
love
radio,
it. No, you got
as
to.
if like someone just tuned in. It's like that's not
Well,
really
we
how
are,
podcasts work.
people might have just tuned into the live
I guess
feed.
you're right.
So
If there was
I'm
a
all
week
for
for
that.
me to do it, it's probably this week.
Nice. Thanks, Bob.
All right, thanks,
We'll
Bob.
see you
Appreciate
soon.
you. We'll see you tomorrow. What do you think, Andrew? Should we sort of leverage off of Bob and the station's generosity, talking about donating to TBTL to remind all the folks out there that this is the TBTL-a-Thon week? And we have some cool thank you gifts, too. I mean, not as cool as like a Wisconsin 106 golf towel, of course, or those bitchin' sunglasses you were wearing, but they're all right in our world. The theme this year is banding together, and so all of the thank you gifts have a kind of a musical component to them. We have the melodica, which is a fun little like piano that you blow into. If your problem with piano was ever there's not enough blowing into it, this like solves that issue. We've got the tambourine. We've got the harmonicas, which have been confiscated from me because I was too good at it.
You were exactly. And I don't know if I'm articulate enough to make the connect. Oh, sorry. What's going on?
Yeah.
Hold on. What's going on? Oh yeah.
Oh, Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
There you go.
Steely Dan is on the list of Bob's favorite bands on the website. Don't think that we haven't been checking out Bob on the website. By the way, I don't know if I'm articulate or smart enough to make the connection, but there is a connection between the passion that we have for this very local radio station that is bucking the trend, as you said in your email today, John, as we buck the trend as well, in trying to have some independence and do something that isn't just like cookie cutter corporate crap.
Yes. Let's turn this Wednesday into a Friends Day. Everybody.
Oh, when did you come up with that?
Back in, I think it was June, probably.
When you went for your computer there, I thought maybe you had a theme song for Friends Day.
No, who has the time? But yeah, like Wednesdays during we're going to call this a pledge drive. I don't know legally if we can call it. Can we call it that, John, even though we're not a 501c3 fundraiser?
You know, I'm not sure the legality.
I think we have an issue with that microphone. It's no longer plugged in is probably what the issue is.
There you go. Wow.
How about now?
Real scorched earth policy from Bob.
No, don't blame Bob.
This is like
disconnecting the mic on the way out.
This is like the Stern Radio Wars.
What a flex.
He just cut our signal. I was calling myself
he cut John's mic. He's like, I'm the new John.
I call myself the king of all media and friendship one time.
I think I disconnected while plugging back in. Yeah, I don't know the legality of calling it a pledge. There is something historically about in public radio where it's a pledge because you're not donating in the moment. You're pledging to make the donation,
sure.
right?
Which
like I'm
is
going to
kinda
send you a
what's happening
check.
here.
Well, most folks, pretty much everyone is giving when they go to the website.
I see.
So,
Okay.
Yeah,
well, let's just call it a fundraiser, and let's just say that these kinds of week-long fundraisers, historically, particularly in the public radio space, but even here, Wednesday is a little bit of a lull because you got the excitement early in the week. You've hopefully got the sort of like the kind of mad dash to the end of the week. In the middle can get a little low-key. And it would be great if we could make this maybe high key or at least medium key here on this Wednesday. So if you have been, if you've been considering jumping on to TBTL.net and throwing a little donation our way, again, this is 100% listener supported. And we couldn't do this without all of you. So thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
All right, our top story involves friendship in the news.
Call it friendo.
I've got lots of news.
I do have a theme for this segment.
Yes, you do.
Regrettably. Here's what we have to do as far as our friendship in the news segment goes, Andrew and John. We actually have to revisit yesterday's friendship in the news topic, because yesterday, right as we were getting into this somewhat questionable news story, if you will, about a person who did not want to go pick their friend up at the airport super duper late, which I had suspicion about because it was a Reddit post. It wasn't like there was no interview with the actual person, who was complaining about this, etc. But as we were just starting to get into the article, Harriet from the local paper wandered in, and then we sort of ended up talking to her about a bunch of other stuff. So were you saying, Andrew, that people were reaching out and saying, don't leave us hanging on the friendship in the news from yesterday?
Yeah, I heard from my friend Anna, our friend Anna, longtime listener Anna, who said that other people were saying online, like, hey, we never got the payoff on that story. Like, here's what I remember, Luke, and then you can pick it up wherever I get it wrong or I run out of steam here, but there was a friend who usually picks up her friend / neighbor at the airport, but the neighbor is often coming in on late flights because she's a night owl. Do I have that right?
That was the setup in the Reddit post, which already seemed a little like, suspicious to me. I'm also trying to get back to the article,
which is why I'm trying to buy you some time here. And so
here we go. I've got it. People.com.
Nice. There you go. Where you go for all of your airport related
hard-hitting airport pickup news.
And so this time she was supposed to pick up her friend, or they were supposed to pick up their friend. I don't know if we know genders here. And
I believe they're both women. It's all in the story.
But anyway, and she said, "No, I'm not going to pick you up." Right? She said, "It's too late. You've changed your flight. It's inconvenient for me, and I'm not going to pick you up."
Basically, the person who was, I don't want to say complaining like I'm blaming the victim, but the person who posted this on Reddit, who's allegedly the airport picker-upper, right, who picks up her neighbor / friend, said she does not like, the person doing the picking up doesn't like driving late at night, doesn't like being near the airport past 10 p.m. And so has already told her friend that. And her friend then schedules the flight to land at 9:50 p.m., which means after picking up her many bags, which was also mentioned in the article, it's going to be more like 11 p.m., which, if you know how clocks work, and I barely do, is 1 hour after the time that this person has already said, I don't want to be out driving around after 10 p.m. It would be 11 p.m. So she says, wanting to stay informed, this person, the Redditor, if you will, asked her friend to text when the flight took off. That's when the evening began to unravel. Quote, she texts me that the flight is delayed, and her flight sits on the ground for at least 2 hours. Eventually, the flight is canceled due to weather, and the friend, the traveler that is, was left to rebook her travel plans in the middle of the night. Finally, around 1 a.m. Philly time, she tells the person who's going to pick her up that the flight is canceled. There's a long line to reschedule flights, and there is an app that she can use. The woman then, this is the person who didn't want to do the pickup, sets a clear boundary about late night pickups. I tell her that I don't want to be driving to the airport after 10 to pick her up. Despite this, her friend, this is where this thing really starts to get kind of confusing with the timeline. Despite this, her friend booked a flight with a 9:20 p.m. departure and an 11:50 p.m. arrival.
11:50?
11:50.
That's almost tomorrow.
Exactly. And then the friend says, I remind her that I don't want to be driving around after 10 p.m., and that it's going to take an extra hour to get a baggage claim. Now we're looking at like midnight. The situation became more frustrating when the friend responded that her bags have already been sent ahead. So she might be out by 12:30. In other words, the friend is saying, which that's not even a service. So the traveler is trying to say to the pickup person, I know normally it takes me an hour to get my bags, but in this case, my bags have been sent ahead. What?
Oh, I see what
by
she's
courier? What is this,
there.
Casablanca?
Yeah,
what do you have, your letters of transit?
She's got her...
Rick, the letters of transit. And it's just like, listen, I spend a lot of time in airports. with luggage. I've never heard of your luggage being sent ahead.
She put her trunks on a steamer.
Exactly. She put it on the Lusitania. Anyway, things, let's see. Then the flight ends up not leaving until like even later. And is
Can I interrupt for
oh
one
yeah, the
second?
stock photography is
Luke, you weren't even talking, I don't think, about this story today. You were just talking about, generally speaking, the types of quote-unquote news sites that are just peppered with like stock photos.
Yes.
This was us privately talking, right? Not
well,
on the
I
show?
think I might have mentioned on TBTL of maybe a few weeks ago, or at some point
okay.
I think I was talking about identifying a quote-unquote news article that is probably not really been written by a real reporter with real reporting, and that you can often tell because of the photographs.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at Luke's screen here, and they're using this stock photo of it looks like a kind of a youngish woman or
It
a
looks
woman.
like Lena Dunham from Girls.
Yes, and she's clearly a traveler because she's just wearing a T-shirt, but she's like looks like kind of a college age traveler or something because she's wearing like a knapsack and then like it's like a fanny pack kind of thing across
I think they
her.
call it a cross bag.
Cross bag, but she's looking down on her phone with one hand and kind of frowning, and another hand is like, what is going on?
And it is very unconvincing to me that this was the person who wrote the Reddit post.
Right.
I feel like it's unlikely. So anyway, the person says, I'm not going to pick you up. Now you're going to get in at 3 a.m. And she says, you should use an Uber.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously,
it's the most
right?
reasonable because did you say this is taking place actually in Philly or Pittsburgh or something?
You don't have to wake the taxi driver up
Here's
at
what
11
Yeah,
p.m.
exactly. Unless she's
Right, it's
flying
not
literally
friendship.
into Friendship Adams, like you can take an Uber.
Yeah. The friend's rescheduled flight left at 1 p.m. Philly time and landed in Vegas around 3 a.m. At that point, the woman tells her friend to take an Uber. A decision
Wait a minute.
that leads to, this is what I'm saying.
1 p.m. Philly is where they're departing.
1
They're
a.m.,
1
1
a.m. And they're Vegas 3 a.m.
Anyway, it's
Okay,
it's very,
yeah, I don't know.
we don't know if this woman's in Philly or Vegas. I honestly
Well,
don't.
what's the reaction? So now they're not friends anymore, and if that's the case, what's the loss there?
Exactly. The friend says, I can't take Uber because I need a credit card to set up the account. And the traveler said they didn't bring a credit card with them. And then the writer of the Reddit post says, who does that? Which is a great question. Who does that, and why would you be friends with them? I think that the obvious answer to this is you do not need to pick this person up at the airport at 3 a.m. And honestly, annoying them to the point of them not really being your friend anymore sounds like it would be a big win for whoever posted this on Reddit.
This person is a hot mess, Luke.
But this is the thing. I feel like this entire letter is completely faked. I do not see the person in the age demo who is writing this letter also being someone who turns to Reddit for their advice. I could see them turning to Dear Abby.
Yeah, that's true.
I could see them asking Amy.
Yes.
I could even see them reaching out to Marilyn Vos Savant, the world's smartest woman, in Parade magazine. But I don't see them going on Reddit. This person feels generationally like they're probably in my mom's generation.
Yeah.
And in fact, got to be careful because my mom listens to the show. My mom for a while. And Mom, listen, if you are hearing this, please don't be mad at me. I'm just reporting the facts. My mom is a person who is quite cost conscious with her flights, and I don't think it happens anymore, but there was a period of time where my mom would often fly back east. And I remember there was one time where she was flying back east, and I don't know if it was because her flight got canceled or because they offered to take a bump. It was like, hey, if you want, she was in like Detroit or something, and the airline said, if anybody wants to wait till another flight, we'll give you $200 credits or something. My mom is very, very receptive to that. Somehow my mom was supposed to be flying to Philly, but I think ended up getting routed into Baltimore, and then wanted her friend who was going to pick her up in Philly to just come grab her in the other town.
In Baltimore?
Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But it was another place that was not the original airport, and I believe it did lead to a certain amount of tension
wow.
because of the driving and the getting the person and all that. All this is to say, I feel like my mother would not, if she had questions about this, or if she wanted to ask, what is this Reddit? Am I the blank?
A-hole,
Am
yeah.
I the a-hole?
Yeah.
If my mother was to be asking that question, she would not be turning to Reddit for it.
No, maybe Facebook.
Yes.
At this day and age,
Maybe Facebook.
I think older generations are still using Facebook or using or like pretty comfortable with that level of things. Reddit does not. I'm not trying to be ageist here, but there are demographics for these things, and that does not seem like the demo.
Yeah, exactly. So, but back to the question,
Are you emailing back and forth with Bob right now?
No, we're still on email number one.
Oh, okay. I just happened to look over and it looked like maybe your email. And it's just like, I don't know. I kind of think of Bob as my friend.
I think of myself as I consider myself the matchmaker.
Yeah,
in all of this. I am
true.
the conduit.
We will toast you at the friend wedding. Certainly.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
Yes, certainly.
But to the question of airport pickups, and we don't have to talk radio this. Like we don't have to flip a coin and then you pick the argument of you got to pick up your friends at the airport, and I pick the never pick up your friends argument. And John just stands over there weeping as the business boys tear each other apart. No, but what is your kind of general with Genevieve airport pickup policy? How does that all work out for you guys in terms of if one of you is traveling and the other one is home? Is it an automatic that you'll go pick each other up? It's
not an automatic, but it's always a consideration.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, this is kind of funny. I don't think we talked about this on the podcast yet, but my flight out of Seattle to get here was not incredibly early. It was an 8 a.m. flight, actually 8:10.
What time did you get up for that one?
But because I am I'm basically like we said yesterday, a belt and suspenders guy anyway, and I was so concerned about anything getting in the way of me and the equipment landing here, where we needed it to be in Wisconsin. I was like, well, I'll definitely make sure that I'm there 2 hours early. So my plan is to get to the airport at 6 a.m. And for some reason, that led me to think I had to get up at 4 a.m., which was a misnomer, for lack of a better word. I did not have to get up that early, but once I was up at 4 a.m. on this big nervous day, I was certainly not going back to bed, so I was pretty wiped by the time I got here.
I think Andrew's Big Nervous Day could be a good children's book, helping kids work through anxiety.
Or possibly the show title today. But yeah, I don't think that most people get up at 4 a.m. to catch a 8:10 a.m. flight, but here we are. But knowing that I wanted to get to the airport early, Genevieve still, for a moment, offered to drive me when we were talking about our plans, but then she realized she was also traveling that day somewhere else, so she couldn't give me a ride. But we always talk about it, and I think she thinks she might pick me up when I arrive later. And we always have the conversation. I dropped her off at the airport a couple of days ago, but I wasn't able to pick her up, or vice versa, or something.
Kind of schedule dependent.
It's just always we're always open to it. But in the day and age of Uber and public transportation, we have a train that goes directly to the station. It's not like, of course, like when I go to visit my parents, we've offered hundreds of times, I can just take an Uber from the airport. My folks think what, did we disown you?
Right.
The idea of not picking me up, their son, at the airport is it would be the route, literally unthinkable to them.
I do think that's pretty generational. What's the policy with you and Jess, John?
Yeah, well, you guys found out when you flew into MSP and then drove to my house to pick me up to come out here.
Is that in Bloomington? Where's MSP?
It's in Bloomington, Minnesota, not Minneapolis. You guys were never in Minneapolis. Sorry, Minneapolis.
John corrected me actually quite harshly the other day about the fact that I kept saying we were landing in Minneapolis because we're technically landing in Bloomington. I put that on the people who named the airport because it's Minneapolis St. Paul Airport. That's very misleading.
But in spite of me wearing my Yankees jersey today, being from New York, I've really bought hard into the St. Paul-Minneapolis rivalry. And so I want to be very clear. You were never in Minneapolis.
You're on the St. Paul side of things.
I want to mention
the cooler city, the better
you dodged
city.
such a bullet with Bob in the Morning showing up, because I had on the show sheet.
I saw the Yankee. You know
I
what,
said,
though?
a bold move wearing that Yankees jersey.
Listen,
but we didn't even have time.
There was
for that.
a lot of that in the chat, and people were questioning me. But there was a lot of people coming to my defense, and I will not apologize for it.
Yeah.
I want a list of every listener who came to your defense.
I will. Look at the chat, Andrew. They're there. I rooted for the Mariners last night.
Yes,
like I said to you this morning.
Yes, you did.
The Mariners have.
You've been subjected to a lot of Marinerism this week. It's fair. You can wear your jersey.
I've become endeared to them as working with you guys and getting to know the 10. So as long as they're not playing the Yankees, I'll root for them.
Okay.
So you and Jess in the airport.
So we're 12 minutes from the airport.
I see.
And so we also, to try to save some money here and there, we'll typically be flying out early, flying in late kind of thing. But it's never been an issue for us because it's we're so close.
My thing is because I live, kind of up where I do, and my girlfriend lives in Portland, so it doesn't tend to be the case that one of us is driving to the airport. But the few times that it has happened through whatever it means, it is so GD heartwarming. First of all, it reminds me of being a kid, because you're talking about your parents' generation, Andrew. When I was a kid, if anyone ever, first of all, there was not rideshare, and a taxi cab would have been considered prohibitively expensive. If anyone was ever coming to town that we knew, or if somebody was flying out on the rare occasion that happened, it was always somebody picking you up or dropping you off. Like, so it's actually very kind of nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
And also it's kind of I don't know, it's a sweet bonding time. I mean, certainly even the dropping off is kind of like, well, travel safe. And, Rick Steves has me really in my head about travel safe. He was on Livewire. We did Livewire in Seattle a few months ago. And he was talking about how he likes saying bon voyage. Like he's, obviously he's the travel guy. His whole thing is about like the adventure of travel. And we used to be adventurous and we used to travel. We used to say bon voyage to people or have a good trip. And now we say travel safe.
Oh, okay.
And that he thinks that sort of indicates how we think about the world now.
Oh.
Can I interrupt for 1 second to ask you a question? Did I just see a teenager
with the fishing
ride
pole?
by on a bicycle with a fishing pole hanging off the back of it?
Yes,
Are we in a Norman Rockwell
you saw
painting?
an animated. You saw a Norman Rockwell painting come to life, and honestly, it's terrifying because they're not supposed to come to life. They're supposed to be a one-dimensional flat painting, and it just became in human form.
Finally, the magic eyes are working for me after all this time.
A little too well.
I don't know if I can go back to broadcasting from my basement.
Well, I have to say, this is a particularly fun and active thing that we're looking out on. But Andrew, this is, of course, my whole obsession with anytime we're doing the show. If I'm in a hotel room, I'm dragging the little desk over to the window. Even if I'm looking at an air conditioner in a parking lot or like at the Madrona Hill studio, I can only operate along these lines. Like my brain is bad enough at generating thoughts as it is. If I'm just looking at a wall, it just shuts down.
Yeah,
do you feel invigorated by this process? Do you feel enervated? I'm trying to use the word enervated more, but I don't know if it means more energy or less.
I've never heard that word.
I've heard the word before, but I've never been bold enough to use it. I don't think I know what it means.
I think enervating means it drains your energy.
Let's see here.
Let's see. Yeah, it's the opposite of what I was trying to
Enervated.
No, this
So
doesn't
do you
enervate
feel
me.
reverse enervated, as people say?
The answer, sadly, is not enervated.
Great.
No, this is great. I mean, it really is idyllic. I was telling you that, again, we had all of the excitement that you hear on the air from me, or the passion for this particular week of programming, is very real, as you know, Luke, because I won't stop talking about it. We just had breakfast at this diner. I'm just like, this has just worked out. I'm not trying to wrap up the show. My apologies for getting us off topic, but this is just so incredible to sit here on Main Street, just like Bob in the Morning down the street a ways, and just like watch.
Oh, you mean the show we're going to be on tomorrow morning? How are you feeling about that, by the way?
That is true. I don't know that I fully processed that, but obviously very excited, I think.
Yeah, like I haven't been in a real radio studio in a while.
Yeah, I know. And actually, now that you say that, am I a little bit nervous? I guess so. I guess what will happen is we will get to try to answer the question to ponder it live on the air, right? And then we can argue about it.
I guess we also will have to answer the question that we haven't been able to answer for about 17 years, which is, what is TBTL? And maybe more importantly, why is TBTL? Like, we better start practicing that answer right flipping now.
Let's get a website called Why the Hell is TBTL?
I mean, because like, there's nothing that we're worse at than A, promoting the show, and B, explaining the show.
Yeah.
And we'll be trying to do it on Central Wisconsin's music leader, Wisconsin 106 tomorrow.
That's right.
Well, anyway, back to the airport pickup question. I have to say, I mentioned this the other day about what they've done at PDX, which is the airport that I use the most, which is that they have put these risers in. They're really beautiful. They're like some kind of local blonde wood that, like, they're basically these benches. But, when I say risers, I mean kind of like
bleachers.
Bleachers, but I don't want people to think of like a high school bleacher that's like uncomfortable to sit on. They're very welcoming. And like, it's just amazing. They're full of people and families and all hours of the day and night. Never for me when I emerge through that security thing, but just like, I love that. I feel like there's something really sweet to that whole thing, which makes me think maybe I need to try to actually start doing that more, whether it's picking up the people I love when they get to the airport. Because I'm the kind of guy who would like just call an Uber for them.
Oh, like somebody would say, "Hey, Luke, could you pick me up at the airport?" You'd be like, "Well, I'll just send a car for you."
Yeah, I'll be like, that doesn't really
I'll
work
send
for me.
my driver.
Yeah, right. It doesn't really work for me, but I could schedule you an Uber or a Lyft or something, but it doesn't have that personal touch. All All right, folks, what do you think here? We've been.
Well, you know what? I might have one caller.
Oh, okay. Let's do a call before we get
this
out of
caller
here.
has been on hold for 22 minutes. I
Holy
feel like
smokes.
we can't
Okay,
hang up
all
on
right,
them.
fair
I
enough.
got to hear my first caller this week.
Oh, that's right.
You always remember your
I
first
even missed
one.
it when Bob was here. I couldn't listen.
I'm sorry, John.
No. I'm happy
You do
Bob.
get to wear your Yankees jersey.
I'm happy, Bob.
Okay, here we go.
Ahoy, hoy.
Hello, you are on TBTL-a-Thon 16. Who's this?
Hello, friendos. This is Jake in Chicago.
Jake, the perfect daddy.
Oh, thank you for actually saying it.
Yeah, you know, I'm getting soft in my old age. I forgot that. I forgot I hate that nickname.
We beat him down.
Yeah, right. How are you, buddy?
17 years or something. Good. I mean, as good as you can be.
Yes.
I was, not to bring it down, I was laid off a couple months ago.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Hunting for jobs constantly. Yeah, not really what I intended to talk about.
What kinds of jobs are you looking for?
Well, right now I am putting together an email for a video producer role here in Chicago that claims to be hybrid. Here's something I found on LinkedIn.
Okay.
A lot of these people don't know how to use LinkedIn. A
The
lot of
people that
places
are
say,
that are
"This is a
putting the
remote-"
ads up, the job ads.
Yeah, exactly. I saw one, I've seen several that say, remote position, executive assistant, administrative, that kind of role.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, great, no problem. So this is a remote job. You must be based in Vegas.
What?
That's not what remote means.
They mean emotionally remote.
Yes.
You work in Vegas,
Right,
but
which
you
I
are kind of
can
vacant.
do.
Yeah, right. So you're finding it annoying to that these jobs are listed as, because you would work remotely from Chicago, just about anywhere, but a lot of the jobs actually want you to physically pick up and move. And now you're married, you've got a whole life. I mean, we can't be having you just gallivant all over the country.
Not like that anymore,
How is married life, by the way?
Now. Good. We actually just we just got back from our honeymoon.
Oh, congratulations.
We have decided to turn our anniversary into a excuse to go on a yearly trip. So we went to Denver and Colorado, the general area, for about a week, a couple months ago, maybe a month ago.
Nice.
It was great.
Good. Congratulations
Congrats again.
on that. I'm glad that part of your life is
thank
working
you.
out. Sounds like everything else is falling apart.
Yeah. It's the
Don't
American way.
ruin that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Prioritize the marriage.
Aren't you glad you called?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. What a message of hope we're bringing. What did you think about that whole? Wait, Jake. What did you think about that whole Bob in the Morning segment?
I was so happy with that. I was really excited. I think everybody has the same opinion of wanting to, maybe it's just me because it's what I went to school for, but being in a radio station and looking out over the main square, whatever, Main Street, that's the ideal, right?
It's the dream.
Isn't that just sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so psyched that we have. Andrew, can I just say?
Yeah.
We would not have. I think it's actually safe to say, Bob in the Morning would have never been here. We would not be going on the Bob in the Morning show tomorrow. We would not have these golf towels or these campfire mugs.
Mm-hmm.
These
sunglasses.
Can I say those sunglasses?
Yeah,
killing
well,
it.
I
love those sunglasses.
I'll send you some, Jake. I'll send you mine, okay?
Please.
For real.
Okay.
I need to put prescription lenses in mine.
Wow, talk about new wine and old wineskins. Putting prescription lenses in your 18-cent radio station promotional sunglasses. I love it. No, Andrew, do you realize, I'm being totally serious, none of this would have happened if when we stepped out of the Sugar Shack after being served by Becca Big Scoops, again, her nickname, her choice.
Because of ice cream.
Her scoops, her choice.
A child's choice.
Exactly.
Like.
If you hadn't said, hey, can we just kind of walk a little bit to walk this off? Because if we would have just cut over to our rental vehicle, we would have just driven off and whatever. But because we went up to the light and then went over and said, oh, this is a radio station, got an antenna coming out, and then looked at it. Talk about
Kismet.
Kismet.
I know. And again, I think we've said this on the air, and if not, I hope it's okay to say, but like so much about this trip has been kismet because also I think originally we were planning on maybe broadcasting from the Airbnb in Friendship.
Yeah.
But when we found out there was no internet, we had this, we're like, oh, well, we'll find a place in town. And so here we are in this amazing historical society building and looking out on Main Street, and like the week would have been so different. It would still be good. It would still be three guys living their life
for you to support their job.
Yes, exactly. And we would have obviously made the most of it, but this has been like magical, and it's all because there was bad internet where we rented.
Yeah.
You know,
that's like, not to get too corny or whatever, but I think that is a TBTL lesson that I'm starting to finally learn after all these years, which is most of the time when we encounter something that seems like it's kind of a big setback for whatever our plan was, whatever ends up working out is usually vastly better. You know, and that's, I think, you know, I don't want to Pollyanna it up, and we're living in a moment of time that's pretty terrifying for everybody, mostly Jake. But if like we can kind of think about that sometimes when we bump up against something that seems like a pretty big obstacle, it is very possible that the ultimate outcome is going to be a big improvement over whatever that thing was. That gives me a little bit of hope at times, and makes me feel a little bit less despair when something happens that is not the thing I was hoping was going to happen.
You know, not to get like a Thon pitchy and stuff, but like,
no, dude. Honestly, if you can,
I was going to say,
you can turn this into some donations.
Just kind of
monetize this tender moment.
No, I love it. I love that.
In all seriousness, like,
Thank you for being a 10.
You know, like the thing, like one of the things that's kept my focus on not all the terrible stuff is this community, the friends, you know, the people through.
Story.
You know, it's like we're watching we have a live stream and watching this chat. People just saying the nicest things about you guys and the experience and being there here with each other. You know, flipping out of our awesome was to see Bob today and Harriet yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's just like such a cool thing to help kind of like keep at bay the sad, terrible things.
Yeah. Well, hey, Jake, why don't we, because we do have a lot of people that are going to hear this both on the stream and then eventually when it's out in the sort of pod world. What sort of work are you looking for? Let's put it out here. Let's do a little on air promotion for you in case one of the 10s at the place that they work is looking for somebody, or maybe they've got a business or whatever. What kind of stuff are you looking for?
Sure. I've been doing a lot of like office managerial roles in the last few years, which I really like. So if you need somebody to run your office while you do other things, I'm your guy.
Okay.
Other than that, I've always been a fan of like video and audio production.
You had your own podcast,
the production side of things. I do. Thank you for mentioning it. It's called Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? Or
that's a good name.
The Compassionate Haters Podcast.
Love it.
Compassionate Haters Survivor Podcast, I think we call it on YouTube now. Trying to expand that audience.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, how do people get a hold of you if they want to find you and tell you about an awesome remote job that doesn't involve moving to Vegas?
Oh, I do love Vegas. I love losing wages.
First, you have to make some wages.
Yeah, exactly. Jake, JAKE.SCHEIDEL @gmail.com. If you're AI, please don't email me. I don't want any robots clogging my email up. I've already got enough newsletters.
See, that's the kind of comedy you could have at your place of business. That's you hire Jake Scheidel, the perfect dad.
Imagine Jake sitting next to the water cooler,
saying, "What's the deal with water coolers?"
Saying, "What's the deal with water coolers?"
Exactly.
That's great. Can I ask one question of Jake before we wrap things up today, Jake? About how many paper cuts would you say you get a year?
I was thinking about that. I don't remember the last time I've had a paper cut. But it's got to be maybe only one or two in the last 10 years.
Yeah. And the thing is, you tend to remember them because they're so kind of upsetting when they happen.
Because remember, I got one sometime in the last year, and I talked about it on the show because I said it's like I don't really believe in God or the idea of original sin.
You want to keep that under your hat here,
except for when I get a paper cut, and somehow a paper cut seems like a residual effect of original sin, and somehow it just seems so like, how did picking up a piece of paper hurt me? Yeah, it just seems so unfair.
I was troubled by just how bad my math is, because think about this, like if you said like 400 paper cuts in a lifetime and somebody who lives to 80, I would be, well, that means they have 100 paper cuts a year, right? Like that. Because like honestly, 50 mean, what would it be, 50 a year?
No, it'd be five a year.
Five a year.
If you live to 80, yeah.
5 sounds, it actually sounds plausible. 5 in a year.
Can I just give you guys a warning? We shouldn't
Yes.
be trashing that segment too much, right? Having arguments with it too much, because Bob has literally entered the chat.
No, my goodness. I think I've made my feelings known.
Listen.
Today's answer.
No, we're honestly, we don't keep any secrents from Bob in the morning.
Bob in the morning is on the YouTube chat.
He knows where we stand.
Love this.
He knows that we need to ask some hard questions tomorrow morning on Wisconsin 106 about the.
That's right.
Is it Price Waterhouse Cooper? Who's in charge of this thing?
That's right. There better be somebody with a briefcase handcuffed to their wrist with the answer inside.
Hey, Jake, good luck with everything, brother.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate
Thanks,
you
man.
being part of the show for all these years, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
There goes Jake, the perfect daddy. Long time TBTL friend and participant. Any final thoughts here, folks, before we wind this up? Oh, here's a final important thought. We're going to be on Zoom tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Of course.
We keep forgetting about that.
Yeah.
I know.
TBTL-10's got music stuff.
Yeah. So the idea is it's kind of like a show and tell on Zoom. Luke, John, and I will be here in the Historical Society, same setup. And you guys will be, I think you say you do have to register in advance. Go to TBTL.net if you haven't registered.
Yeah.
Right now, we got over 100 people registered
There's like
for this thing.
130 something people.
130 people, just us and 130 of your closest friends on Zoom tonight. And if you want to, it's like a show and tell for anything you have that's music related. Now, I want to be clear here. It's not a recital. We're not looking for people to do performances. We simply don't have time for that. But if you have a favorite concert t-shirt that brings back some great memories for you, or a ticket stub, or a vinyl record, or a cassette, whatever it is, any kind of little thing that is music related that you can tell us a story about, if you want to do that, that's the theme tonight. Or you might just want to be somebody who joins the Zoom and just kind of hangs out and hear other people's stories. You don't have to participate. Frankly, we don't have time for 130 stories. So that is the plan. Go to TBTL.net if you want to join us and
make your annual donation to TBTL.
Wait.
Sorry. Did I jump the gun?
Well, I just wanted to say all of this is assuming the internet works.
That's right.
We are a little bit nervous about the situation. We have the technology set up now, but we have not tried Zooming in here. And you guys have all been in work meetings before where you have a bad, somebody's on a bad internet connection and you can't hear what they're saying during the Zoom call. We might be that person.
Yes.
And so I'm not trying to disincentivize for people, but
level setting.
I am
We're
level
doing our
setting.
best.
We are going to do our best to have this tonight, but we have been running into some internet issues that we weren't quite prepared for. We've been getting around them, but tonight, let's just say we are hoping for the best, but preparing for everybody just to watch the Brewers game.
Well, because
actually that's a day game today.
Because just if you were somebody who logged on during last year's Thon, which was at the Madrona Hill studio, or even in previous years when we would do the Zoom, and the technology was getting pretty tricky. Like we had, each of us had our own dedicated camera, and we were able to jump around and stuff. That is much like House of Pain. That is not going to be probably how this Zoom works, just for technical reasons. So just go into this, please, knowing that this is going to be a little bit more of a lo-fi experience. It's still going to be super fun, but we're just going to be, trying to basically stress the internet out as little as possible here, so that we can actually talk to all of you.
So again, just a reminder, you do have to sign up and register. That way you get the link sent to you. We're hoping for the best. And then when you're at TBTL.net, it's right at the top of the page, right next to the donate button.
Nice.
There you go. Now that's how you do that.
How
Little Texas
perfect
two-step.
is that?
Yeah, sign up for the Zoom hangout and kick a little cash TBTL's way, and you're off to an amazing Wednesday. All right. Hey, thank you, everybody, for real, for listening to all this and watching it and being part of TBTL, getting us here 4,516 episodes later. We're going to be back here tomorrow with more imaginary radio for you from right here at the Adams County Historical Society. So please do join us for that. In the meantime, have a great Wednesday. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Did we just become best friends?
Power out.